make that flush. Probably doesn't matter too much, but okay, so those are in, and that means that this piece is now glued to the cross piece. Next thing I want to do is put these drill bits in, and I can see already that this is not aligned, is in too far, and that's what happened when I did a dry run on this. Should always do a dry run. Whoop. There she goes. Oh, the most important thing is don't break the granite. Second most important thing is don't break the extra. Don't let the thing fall on the floor. Alright, so that is very well lined. This one looks like it has the same problem. No problem though. Just tap it. Once one goes in, the other's bound to go in with it. Just kind of push it around and make sure it's in there. And now I can pull those out and set them aside. I'm continuing to wipe my hands because this is kind of a messy job. I still have a lot of epoxy left, so I'm going to just add some more on here because it looks like a little bit of it is dry. This, yeah, right here there's about ½ inch it's dry. You may be able to see the color difference. This side is done. I rather like that. Good. Looking for drips. Once I get clamps on, I may not be able to get in here, so just taking a quick look. Alright, that's great. Last thing I need to do is make sure this piece is pushed on there, because on the dry run that was not on there very well. Alright, just make sure these are still good. Alright, now these guys get glue underneath, not on the writing side. So why do you glue both sides of a piece of wood? Why do you glue both sides of the joint? Well, when you do this, you're pushing glue into, watch out for those bristles that can come off the brush. You're pushing glue into the pores of the wood. Okay, right, front, right. Okay, this is the piece that goes here. The way it goes in, it actually gets tapped in. And I just washed my hands off with a rag. I keep doing that because now I've got my hands on the extra quite a bit, and I don't want to have to recover anything. Okay, smart thing to do would probably be put a drill bit in here. So that cannot shift. Actually, it looks like I have a space back here. Oh, there we go. It was hung up on something. That is very good. One thing I will do after I'm done when I'm done with this glue up, I will clear the granite right away and run a fresh paper towel with alcohol on it, rubbing alcohol on it, so that it will clean off any little drops of epoxy, because granite is not a solid material like people think. It's actually porous. It'll eventually, if a puddle of something is on it, like thin like water, it wouldn't evaporate. After, I don't know, several days, maybe a week, it'll actually soak through. This is 3 centimeter granite, so it's thick. Left front is, I just did the wrong side of that piece, but fortunately, it doesn't matter. It's kind of tricky to work and talk at the same time about what you're doing. If you don't believe me, I challenge you to make a video and I'd like to watch it. Certainly share your good work. Okay, now this is where I thought I need this X-Acto knife. I can kind of pry that over so it's straight. Maybe a little too much is good. The other way, so I can push it with my finger. Oh, there's some epoxy. Okay. Lots of extra epoxy came out when I finished that. There's some down here. There's really no need for it, so I'll just get most of it with the brush and wipe it off when I'm done, maybe, if I remember. Okay. That piece shifted on me. I don't know why it shifted, but it did. It's kind of one of the frustrating things. Yeah, there it is. Okay. As soon as you get one thing set, work in another place displaces the position. Okay, now there's a lot of epoxy right here, and there's none right there, so I'm just going to push it over here. Make sure this inside joint has got a little bit of a fillet on it. And then up here where I can reach. And then when this is dry, I'll flip it over and I'll do this on the other side that I just can't reach from here. This will add a little bit more strength. Strength is what I'm after here. Yep, I see epoxy on the granite. That's not good. So I will be cleaning that up. Good thing is it cleans up very easily. Okay, my epoxy cache is looking very good, so I've got the writing on the top. I'm going to the bottom here. Not sure where the frame of the camera image extends, so I hope I'm getting this all where you can see it. Just work that epoxy into the wood grain very well. Okay, now this one's got a tongue, and the tongue is actually tapered and it's thinner than the top. That's the way the original was, I believe, but you know, things break and it's hard to tell just what's what, how it was originally, you know, assembled, designed. But I had to break this loose. This is a longeron under this covering, and I had to break that loose in order to be able to get a finger in here to work that in just like that. Okay. And when I push that down, I know there's going to be a lot of epoxy that comes out, but before I do, well, I guess I'll just do it. I'm going to make sure I've got the wax paper under this before I do it, because it is going to make a bead on the back side that I cannot get to, just like this bead right here. So pull this back a little bit and I'll work that into this joint like that. Oh, I got a little bit of epoxy on the covering, but that's okay. Okay, I'll clamp that down. It'll be a very good joint. Okay, now I've got one more piece to epoxy, and I have just enough to do one more of these pieces, so that was a very good guess how much epoxy would be needed. I'm glad I don't have to mix anymore. It's a very good thing. It just seems to be inevitable. You always seem to run out. Just a little bit more would have done the job. So let's do this side. This side I also had to break free. Okay. Before I do that, I'm going to put some more down in here. Pull this away a little bit, work some into that joint. And on the other side, or other end. All right. Well, the battery died as I was filming, and I wasn't about to mess with the camera. I finished the glue up, and turned out well. I ended up putting some tape on those blue clamps because they tended to slip off, so the tape's been holding them fine. This is about an hour and a half, I think, after I stopped filming before. So I've got the books sitting on, you know, basically the kind of the nose of the firewall area, nose of the aircraft. There's the books there. I got the Introduction to Flight, the back, and this gap along here is completely closed on both sides. I'm thinking that this is going to dry when the epoxy cures very straight, and this plane is going to fly maybe better than it was new. That'd be nice. So I don't want to take the books off tonight. I think I'll let it dry overnight and check it in the morning. It'll be done certainly by then. And all the clamps will come off, and the only thing that could go wrong now, I think, is the clamps actually being glued to the aircraft. But I really don't see that happening. Got a lot of wax paper in there. I was pretty careful. So should be good to go. Alright, it's been 12 hours since I glued this all together. So I'm going to carefully take these books off. See if I have glued the clamps to the plane or anything else. See, suspected those clamps would not stay on by themselves. No, none of the clamps were stuck to the airplane. This is a good thing. The epoxy takes 24 hours to reach full strength, but after 12 hours I'm thinking that it should be cured enough to not need all these weights on it and things. And since I've got this in the kitchen, and there are other people that use this room, I don't want to risk someone, even myself, walking into this assembled airplane and having it get knocked off of the counter. That would be a very sad thing. Okay, so that's most of the wax paper. There's a little bit more there. Pull off later. But what I wanted to see is the top of this fuselage flat now? Or is it not? And that looks like it held, so now this surface is totally flat, and as I add glue on all the other joints, that will only help strengthen it. So this is good. I'm kind of past the worst part of this project. So now it's all kind of reassembly, a little bit of covering, put the motor back on and the electronics, get back in the air.